So Joe, I've been watching Trump for a long time now, our friend Donald Trump, and he's always had this fascination with gold.
You see it everywhere with Trump, right?
There's always a lot of gold around Trump. I mean, think about it. He used to host a TV show called Gold Rush. You know, inside a lot of his casinos, they're now all bankrupt and out of his hands. But gold was a common interior design element in a lot of the Trump casinos. It really popped up for me most recently during the Republican convention when he came up to speak.
The main guy.
The main guy, Donald Trump, when he got up there on stage, he was surrounded by huge gold columns on either side of the Jumbotron. There were gold steps leading up to the podium, and then his lectern itself was outlined in gold.
But I think it also says something very deep about his ideology. What I really think is gold is a symbol not of wealth per se, but about power.
But what's really the difference? Doesn't wealth convey power and power can convey wealth?
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
You know, there are all kinds of ways to show wealth, but you know, historically, gold is the type of thing that you really needed great power to acquire it. It's very labor intensive to get gold. You need to have incredibly complex global supply chains to get enough gold to turn it into a currency. And so I think that in addition to the fact that gold is associated with wealth, it's really the sort of conveyance of the idea that he has power.
You know, if you go down through the ages, there's King Midas, there's the pharaohs of Egypt, and actually Trump's apartment sort of looks like Louis XIV might have decorated it on a bad acid trip.
It doesn't seem like it's an accident that he likes gold.
And of course, let's not forget about his hair.
I don't wear a toupee. It's my hair.
Every day, probably the closest gold item to Donald Trump is that massive halo of gold hair that hangs over his head like sort of a flying saucer.